All right, let's film a little video like this. I like that. I like that view. You guys like that view? I like that view. Yeah, that's right. Um. All right. Yeah, sorry. So if you guys in the chat here, I'm gonna just record stuff for a video, so I might not address your questions immediately. But I did. I will address something that somebody asked me. Is like, how do you find motivation for a project? And there's a bunch of ways, and I also noted that that's where a lot of people they kind of struggle is like finding motivation or how to start a new project. And I thought that was like a really good question. It deserves some thought because there's a lot of things. Why do we start this instead of this guy, for example, or or just like how do I get started? Like I've had these plastic models in my shelf for a while. So I'll give you the first thing about motivation that you need to know. And I've learned this actually way back for about something completely different, and that example stuck with me. And like painting models and painting miniatures is much like jumping in a pool. Uh, when you start a project, it's really hard, like jumping in a pool. And no matter like if you spend your whole day in that pool and then you get like kind of cozy and you're happy with it, the next day when you come right in front of the pool, jumping in it is hard, even though it's the same thing, and it's just a day. Starting a project is exactly like that. It's like jumping in a pool. Before you jump in, you're gonna be a little bitch about it. You can be, and you can jump right in. But how do you find that motivation to jump in the pool and start your stuff? Well, there's a bunch of things. First of all, commit to a game, commit to a tournament, commit to like find a purpose for whatever you're doing, and this is the best trick. Is like there's no if you don't have like a big incentive at the end of it. Usually, I know for me, not having any incentive is really really hard for me to start something. I don't know. I can't explain why that is, but like having an incentive, like for example, I've had NIDS for a long time, and then it took. Oh, we're gonna play NIDS at the Adepticon, and then I have one day, 18 hours. Bing, bam, boom. Started the project. Needs to start because now we have a deadline. We need to bring it. We need to pack it for Tuesday. So it needs to be done by Tuesday. I found motivation right there. Plane ticket, tournament ticket, meeting some people from the internet. I don't want to let people down. I don't like people judging me. Commit to something. That's a really good help. And then the other thing is, and this is my favorite way, and it's gonna sound weird, but my favorite way to start a project is to start a project before finishing another project. So, for example, before we finish this wolf and this space wolf guy that goes with it, we are gonna start with this chaos model, just a little bit, just something. It doesn't need big. Maybe we paint the cloak. Maybe we airbrush some sort of color on this guy. I don't know what exactly. But before we finish something, we start this other thing. So I'm gonna get in the mood. We're gonna stream it, and streaming is a very good example. Like get on Discord and paint with people, and you'll find yourself doing all kinds of crazy shit. That's another. I'm getting carried away. Um, yeah. So starting something before you finish something else. For some reason, humans are programmed to finish what they start. I cannot explain the logic behind this. It's why video games reward you for every little achievement that you do. Is because you finished this, but you started this other little like side quest or whatever, so you have to finish that one. But then while you're doing that one, you get something else, and then so you kind of keep doing it because you started something ever so small. And so that's a very big thing, and that thing I learned again about something completely different. But I've been using that for miniature painting, and that has served me a lot. Like never be like done with projects. Always start something just before you finish, and then your own brain will like play against you, and it'll make you keep doing it. So, in order to do this, I'm gonna get in a good mood. Like I'm gonna start painting something. Like while we're gonna do this, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go. Let's start this guy, and then we're gonna start this guy because I'm gonna be already painting. Or maybe we paint it like red, and then we're gonna be airbrushing red at some point. So I'll just airbrush this guy red, just on the side, just red, boop, or blue. This base is already blue. Let's paint him blue. I don't know. So we do that, and then it's already started. So we started, and then we had no ulterior motives with it, but it started before we finished it. And then for some reason, it's going to be already started when we get to it. And before we finish this, we're going to start on something else. And that is like the best trick ever. And then the third thing is like, some people do it here with my stream because I've been told I have a very mellow voice, which is my post Adepticon voice, and you can bet that the people around me at Adepticon did not think I have a mellow voice. Best believe it. But a lot of people, they watch the stream and they paint while they do it. That face made for radio. So you don't need to watch what I do. You need to hear it and just chat. Get on Discord. Get on Skype. We used to do this thing on when Google Hangout was a thing, and like the painting community was, I swear to God, the only ever users of Google Plus and Google Hangouts. We'd get on there, and there was always somebody painting, and then you'd just log in, and then 3, 4, 5 people, and then you just have people, and like, what are you gonna do? You're in front of a computer. People are painting. Of course, you're gonna paint. And I got so much stuff done just because, like, on some random Tuesday, some guy from Spain and some guy from Japan were painting in a Google Hangout, and then I just joined. And next thing you know, we're talking about like season 2 of Game of Thrones coming up and painting models. That's how long ago it was. So, or somebody told me recently at the store, was like, yeah, during the pandemic, every like Tuesday night, me and my friends, we made a Discord. We would up on Discord and just chat and paint. He says, I've never painted in my entire life, but every Tuesday, we just like shoot the shit and paint. I'm like, that's so great. I know guys from Canhammer, they did that for a while. Like they'd have these paint and chat, and they're like one huge like Skype call. And that is like very great motivation. And then the last thing is do that in person. Painting hangouts in person are the best. When I got started painting, that's kind of how we did it. Like there was a store with like a big area to paint, and I do that. I was like practically unemployed. I was working part time, which is practically unemployed, and so I would spend like most of my days just like going there and hanging out and painting my malls, and then people would just drop by, paint malls, and then. So you get the same experience, but in real life. And, you can build that in your living room. You can build that in your basement. You can build that in your garage. It's pretty easy to do. And it just, it kind of forces you into doing stuff. And that's how you find, like, motivation is it comes from within, right? It's kind of weird in that sense of, like, oh, yeah, but that doesn't work, it doesn't really motivate you. It's from within, or it tricks you. Yeah. Where else would motivation come from? So that's kind of the thing. If you can't find it yourself, force it upon you. It's there. Like sitting down painting, it's there. You just have to make it. So if you cannot force it out of you, find somebody else who will. Like people, streams, it just works. So these are a couple of tricks that I've picked up along the year. I notice I do them all the time, and I do them kind of unconsciously now, especially starting stuff in the middle of other things, and then I put them on a shelf. And then that's what I always tell people is like, you can start as many projects as you want as long as you don't stop all of them at the same stage that blocks you. For example, mine is primer. So I like, if my stuff's not primed, it's going to sit there a long time. So I have to have always stuff that's primed and always stuff that's assembled, and some stuff that's airbrushed and some stuff that's ready to paint. For example, this guy here is probably going to wait for a little while here because the airbrush is all done. So I'm probably going to leave it there until I have a couple of airbrush done on this mall and this mall, so that I can do brush work on something else. And I'm going to prime something else. And so all of these projects are going to be like in different like stages all the time. And I just realized it looked really weird without my arms, so we're going to change that for the next videos. But thank you for listening here. And thank you for listening here. If you have questions, drop it somewhere. I'll find it and I will address it eventually because I write them all down.